Hey friends, hope you're having a blessed day so far. We've been kind of incognito for a little while. We just wanted to do a quick post tonight or video, because we hadn't done one for a few days. We had a church function this week, and it was a pretty major deal. So we were tied up Monday through Wednesday on that, and we were just cooking dinner. And Teresa was like, "Hey, let's go ahead and do a short video really quick and check in on everybody. Let them know we're still here." We do have some stuff coming up down the pipe, though. We had somebody wanted us to do a video on misinformation.
Yep.
So we'll do a video on that. I promised you guys some workouts doing the smart training,
Yep.
so using the bands. And we'll also do a workout in the gym using that same principle, the smart training. I'll talk a little bit about sprinting coming up, and we've got some other stuff too.
And I am doing a talk here in Springfield, if you're local, on April 5th. So check out my post a couple days ago, April 5th at 10 a.m. at one of the library centers, the one on Kansas Expressway at 10 to noon.
Yep.
I'm speaking with 4 people total, and each person's getting about 30 minutes. And I'm talking about the devastating effects of a woman's lifespan without hormones.
Oh, wow. It's going to be good. All right. So feel free to come by. And I don't know what the rules are going to be for that, but I need to probably do a video on that, or at least record it, and I can post it later.
Yeah, I don't know.
So we'll try and do something like that, especially for those of you, obviously, who are not in Springfield, Missouri. So,
or maybe I could do it one night on a video.
Or we could do it one night on a video. So we'll figure all that out, though. So, well, guys, for those of you who don't know us, welcome. I'm Mark. I'm a certified health coach. This is Teresa. She's a board certified family nurse practitioner. We are with Total Health and Wellness, and we like to talk about hormones, metabolic health, and everything in between. But before we get started, I want to show you guys what we're having for dinner really quick. So I know this is going to come as a shock to many of you, but tonight's burger night. So,
but without bacon, maybe that is a shock.
That's right. We didn't make bacon tonight. Okay. So we've got, these are roughly 70, 30, 80, 20, somewhere in between there with regards to the protein to fat ratio. And I've got a little bit of onion and tomato on my burgers. And sorry if you can't see those. And then Teresa did her scrambled eggs, and then she made her pizza. So do you want to talk about that at all?
Yeah, I just take a glass baking dish and I put Rayo's marinara sauce on the bottom. And if you're really we're ketovore, so 10% for this kind of thing. So 90% hardcore meat, eggs, and bacon. And then I put mozzarella cheese, pepperoni, and everything bagel seasoning. And then I bake it. I broil it for about 10 minutes, and then I cook it at 425 for about 10 minutes or 15 minutes.
Yep. And pro tip, if you go with the high fat content burgers like we're talking about doing, and you're going to be cooking them on the grill, make sure you put them in a pan of some sort, because you get a ton of grease, of fat left over that kind of comes out of the burger. And we love that, because we will actually literally spoon the grease out of the pan and put it put it on the burger.
Yeah.
But just be careful of that. So with all that being said, I don't even know. This is such a quick thing. What are we talking about?
I just titled the Facebook one, "What's for Dinner and Will It Raise Our Sugar and Insulin?" It's kind of like the OG, how we used to originally do what's for dinner.
So should I ask the question?
Yes, you should.
Will anything that we prepared tonight to eat cause our insulin or blood sugar to spike? And why is that important?
It's a hard question. It will not.
That timing was perfect.
That was our robot vacuum, and he did his little victory thing perfectly. So this will not spike your sugar or your insulin. And that's important, because there are a lot of people making their rounds on social media. And now it's obvious, but they're being paid to say stuff. They're being paid to pick apart people like us to say sugar doesn't cause that. Sugar, when you eat a banana, it's a normal response to have your sugar elevated, and it's a normal response to release insulin. That's true. But when you're doing that every 2 to 3 hours, day after day, week and year after year, that is what is going to eventually burn out your pancreas. So that's your pancreas's job. But if we think ancestrally, we didn't eat like this, and we didn't have all of these opportunities to continue to increase our sugar and insulin. So it is a normal process. I'm trying to think what else is a normal process, but that you just don't do every day. You're glad it's there when you need it, but that's not how we should be eating every day, especially if we want nice level sugars that will keep our mental clarity up, our focus up, our irritability down, our moodiness, and all that stuff.
Yeah. And what we're talking about basics, with regards to the eating and finding foods that are like this, the easy answer to that is when you go to the grocery store, go to the grocery store and stay away from the aisles. Just walk the perimeter of the store, and that's where you'll get all your groceries that are appropriate. Now, there's bread and a few other things like that in some of the perimeters of Walmarts and whatnot. So obviously stay away from that, and stay away from the little bakeries with
The
the cakes.
bakery on there, yeah.
So when I say outer aisle, don't be like, oh, Mark said it's okay to eat anything on the outer aisle. That's not true. Just stay, the dairy products, the veggies, and the meats and whatnot.
Yep.
So that's what I'm talking about there.
Yeah.
But those center aisles are bad news. They've got the cereal aisles, and it just makes me crazy when I walk down the cereal aisles and I see all the worst ones, the worst offenders, are on like the bottom shelves right in front of where the kids see them. And then you go through the checkout line and you've got the candy bars and all those little trigger mechanisms on the right and left as you go through the checkout line. It's trying to snag you and use your food addiction against you.
Yeah.
These people are masters at their art.
It's queuing. They're queuing you.
Yeah, but they're good at doing it, and they know what to do to get you to buy their products. So at the end of the day.
So there's also a lot of misinformation about, and this is not our misinformation post. We're just talking about insulin. There are a lot of doctors, and if you look into who they are the vegan doctors that say sugar does not cause, this is intellectually dishonest. Okay. They say sugar does not cause diabetes. It is fat and protein that causes diabetes.
They call it specifically the protein. They're calling it meat. They're saying specifically meat and fat are what causes it, So it's more than just protein.
Right. But intellectually that is dishonest because all you have to do, and I think you should, which also ticks off these people, the people that are being paid by the industries, you should get a CGM, a continuous glucose monitor that you slap on the back of your arm, and you just take your phone reader and you just read it different times of the day after you've eaten, and you can see what sugar does to you, how high your blood sugar goes, how long it stays up before it comes down, and how you feel during that time. So you can either ask your provider to prescribe one. Even if you're not a diabetic, I prescribe them all the time. And I just write a note in my EMR. There's an internal note to the pharmacist, and I say patient is self-pay. So then there's no quandary about your insurance because you're not a diabetic. And then I say patient's going to download the Reader app. That's all he or she has to say to the pharmacist. It's the Freestyle Libre. It's 3 that we're on now, Freestyle Libre 3. And or we put in the description in the comments, you could go to Stelo.com and order the Dexcom one for $99 straight off their website with no provider prescription.
Yeah. So for those of you on YouTube, it's the description section below the video, and for those of you on Facebook, and of course we do it on Instagram as well. They'll have it in one of the comments below.
Yeah.
So just be on the lookout. We put a bunch of other information in there too that we often talk about here, and we have people asking about quite a bit.
Yeah.
Speaking of people asking about it, it would be very helpful if anybody appreciates what we're doing, if you guys could ask us questions in the comment sections. Not only does that help us with our algorithms and getting more activity on the videos and the feeds, but it also gives us information like we know people want us to talk about. So it gives us content to put together and use. So we would really appreciate if you guys have anything you'd like us to talk about to let us know.
Yeah. And then the other thing I was just going to say is there's a lot of people saying what we're doing is dangerous. And maybe it is for you. Like, we're not giving medical advice. You have to ask your
highly trained and knowledgeable healthcare provider
who also hasn't had nutrition training or hormone training. But we're just showing you this is how we do it. And this is where we were. And this is where we are now. And this is how we live life. And this is how we've been doing it since 2019.
Yeah, that was a great year.
It was a good year.
Yeah. It was before the world fell apart.
We traveled a lot.
Yes.
It was a good year.
We were in fantastic shape physically and metabolically.
Yeah. But so you don't have to do it this way. This is just the way we do it. And we call ourselves ketovore, which to me, it's my own definition. Okay. To us, it means we eat 90% of meat. So for us, it's beef, bacon, and eggs, butter. That's 90%. And then the 10% is left for coffee, other spices besides sugar. Like tonight, I marinated the steaks for Sunday, and I used Swerve brown sugar in my mixture. So that's the 10%. A vegetable on Sundays for Sunday dinner with the girlfriends and the boys. I feel like that's it.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. We always have eggs. We always have bacon. There's plenty of fat and meat at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And, it doesn't have to be, it's just not rocket science, guys. Like, I'm a big advocate. I talk about this. Keep it simple, stupid, the KISS principle. And with regards to eating, a ketogenic diet, if you really want to be true keto, that's very therapeutic. So if you have a specific physical condition, or if you really want to get extreme weight loss or fat loss, or if you really are just serious about the way you're eating and changing your lifestyle, like keto is the way to go. It's hardcore. That's a very high fat content. You're talking about 80, 85% fat, and then the rest of it protein and just a little bit of carbs. But for most people, it's just a transition period that they go into keto. And once they get kind of fat adapted and they get better at the keto and they've lost weight and they're in better condition, they'll typically change to more of a low carb. So that's a little bit more balanced.
Yeah.
So that's a little bit higher protein, a little bit less fat, and of course, still low carb, but maybe a little bit more carbs.
Yeah.
And then of course, carnivore is carnivore, so you're getting protein and fat, and that's it. Of course, eggs are allowed. There's technically a tiny bit of carbohydrate in eggs.
Yeah.
And some carnivores, I mean, they're okay with dairy, things like that. But anyway, again, just keep it simple.
Yeah. Oh, the 10% also left room for the last, not this week, but 2 weeks prior to that, I was craving avocado. So every time we went to Sam's, I bought avocados and I had those. So that leaves space for that. That 10% leaves space for that. Speaking of that, we do go to Sam's every week. And today a patient ran up behind us and jumped in front of us and said, "That's not keto." And so it's funny because this happens a lot. It doesn't matter where you catch us. Our card is keto.
Yeah. He was just messing around with us, but that was fun.
Unless you catch us at Christmas when we're planning for our big party we throw here.
Yeah.
But otherwise, like we do what we say we do.
Yeah.
And we tell you, we have indulgent meals, about definitely 5 scheduled a year and 3 that maybe pop up here and there, 2 to 3.
Like holidays, birthdays, things like that. So, and you got to give yourself grace. So you allow yourself to have those indulgences and have those little excursions, and then just get yourself back on track. What I did for a long time, I don't do it anymore, but if I would eat a meal like that, I would fast for 24 hours afterwards. It was just, coffee, water, salt, tea, things like that. So
yeah,
keep that in mind.
Yeah. Right. So, and it's not every holiday, but we do choose, some, but anyway,
selectively.
Yeah.
All right. Well, as always, guys, if you don't mind, if you haven't already done so, please hit the like, subscribe button, things like that. Any interaction you guys have in the videos would be great. The little hearts, thumbs ups, things like that. And otherwise, we're going to call it a day. As always, we love you all. God bless you. We'll see you next time. And don't forget, food matters.
Bye.
Bye, guys.